Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm doing a video in collaboration with 3 other awesome YouTubers, but as you can see, they're not here. So this is a remote collaboration. We're all talking about different alternative jobs. So it's with Cheryl from Nonstop Paris, who's talking about working for a company in your home country but living abroad. So she works for a British company, lives in Paris. Then Andrea, who lives in Paris and works for a French company. And finally, Zoe Ariel, who is a freelancer. And then I'm the 4th person, and of course I'm talking about being an entrepreneur, a digital nomad. So between us, we cover all different lifestyle choices of how you can live abroad and still earn a full-time income one way or another. So I really hope there's going to be something for everyone. Of course, I will include all their videos in the description, so definitely check them out and subscribe. And while you're here, also subscribe to my channel. I discovered this week that 90% of the people watching these videos are not subscribed, so please hit the red button and support me on my journey. So I thought I would start with a very quick rundown of kind of my story of entrepreneurship. I have a business degree and I've always known I wanted to be an entrepreneur, self-employed. My family are entrepreneurs. So as soon as I graduated, I started running a pop-up shop selling secondhand clothes for charity. I was really obsessed with charity shops. I still am, but I really wanted it to be my career as well as my hobby. So I did that for about a year. Really successful, really good fun, but not very sustainable as a lifestyle. I was doing a lot of driving around different universities, setting up the shops, so I wanted something that was more based in one place. So I became a consultant with a local charity to my hometown. So I was working for them for about 9 months as a kind of charity shop consultant, which is not a real job, but it was my dream job. So I made it up and I convinced the charity to hire me to do it. So I was doing kind of interior design and event management, and I loved it, absolutely brilliant. But after about 9 months, my fiance Ed was already working online as a developer and he wanted to move to Thailand, and I was like, okay, I'm coming with you. But I didn't know what online skills I would have, so I just moved with him and a bunch of savings and started talking to other people. And I met someone there who was doing Udemy. She was called Larissa and she convinced me we should make an online course together. And from then I was totally hooked, and kind of the rest is history. I now have about 25 courses. The cool thing about that is that it is passive, so I had time on my hands. So I then started becoming a co-founder with my fiance Ed, and we were running a company together called Journo Request. We did that for about 2 years alongside me doing Udemy, and a couple of months ago it got acquired, which was amazing, a big milestone for us as entrepreneurs. So during the time we were running Journo Request and since, we've been running a bunch of other startups, mostly software as a service. I think every entrepreneur's journey is quite a kind of crazy zigzag of ideas and trying different things, and that's how I've ended up where I am today. Now I wanted to do a quick selection of the pros and cons of my lifestyle compared to the other 3 girls in the video. So pro number 1, I think, is that there's huge potential. You can earn passive income, you can sell a company, you know, hypothetically you can sell a company for millions, and there's much bigger growth potential than if you work for a company where you just get a few £1,000s pay rise every year, or if you're a freelancer, you're paid per hour. So if you're an entrepreneur, you can make millions. It's kind of unlimited how big your company can get. Maybe you will start the next Google. But even if you don't want a huge company like that with employees and stuff, then there is the passive income side. And passive income, again, doesn't rely on how many hours you put in. My Udemy courses can, in theory, make an unlimited amount of money depending on what courses I choose and how well I promote them. Number 2 is freedom, creativity, innovation, problem solving. You can do anything you want. Every day is totally different. One day you're being an accountant, the next day you're being a guerrilla marketer, the next day you're being a social media manager. There's a little bit of everything. You can be totally creative. You can start any company you want. And of course you have total ownership over it. That is your baby. You can take it in any direction you want. You've totally created it from scratch. Then my final pro is a bit of a controversial one, but I think stability. I know if my company is crashing into the ground. I see it for months or years before. I see that, you know, customers are going down or churn rate is going up, and I'm gonna have a problem because I need to get more people here, and you can kind of fight it earlier. And if my company is gonna implode, I know about it. By contrast, if I'm working for someone else, and I've seen this so many times before when I've been in companies as a consultant, you're hitting all your targets, you're doing an awesome job, but maybe the boss doesn't really like you and you can get fired on the spot. I've seen people be escorted out of the office when they're the top of the company and they've been smashing all their targets. So For me, there's so much more stability because I know if it's going to go wrong. I have multiple streams of income. If Udemy shut down tomorrow, I would still be okay because we've got startups, we've got investments. Whereas if you're working for someone, then it could just all vanish overnight if your employer gets rid of you. If you're a freelancer, you're a bit more diverse. You have several different streams of income, so I think that's more secure. And of course, it's the most similar to being an entrepreneur. So that's it for the pros. Now I want to give you 3 cons to give you a bit of real talk here. So the first one is the long hours. Now, this isn't true for everybody. Some people really prioritize lifestyle over everything and they focus on building passive income. They only work a couple of hours a day. They're the ones you see Instagramming like just on the beach, you know, nomad life. But for us, we work at least 12 hours a day, 6 or 7 days a week. But we love it and we're kind of building a long-term thing. So, you know, already we've sold a company. Basically, we want to put in the work now and kind of reap the benefits forever. Number 2, you may never make it. And maybe you're always on a really rubbish salary because you're just trying to invest everything in your company. But I think that's pretty unusual. I think normally you end up doing it for a couple of years. If it's not working out for you, you like give up and get a job. So I think it's pretty unlikely you're going to plow your whole career into a startup and it won't work out. But that is a risk. At least if you have a job, you know what salary you're going to make. You know that it will go up slightly every year as you renegotiate your package. It's much more reliable as an option. But of course then you don't have that potential huge growth, so that's the flip side. Do you want to have huge potential but possibility of failure, or do you want to kind of go for the in-between where you're just consistent? And number 3, which kind of contrasts to the ownership part, is high pressure. Because you own it, the buck stops with you. If the company is really struggling, if you're getting sued, if your customers are all leaving, all of that is on you. So the pressure can be pretty high. The level of responsibility is through the roof, especially if you have employees. You're the one who has to pay their salary to put a roof over their head every day and feed their children. You know, there's no reward without sacrifice. So if you want to get those £1 million acquisitions, then you have to be the one who's kind of the buck stops with you and doing the jobs that you don't really like doing. You're always trying to problem solve and overcome barriers, and that's what makes every day interesting, is it's always different. But it also can be a big downside that whenever you solve a problem, it just opens the next wall for you to hit, and then the next wall, and you're always kind of crashing down walls and trying to problem solve. But we love it, but I would definitely say that's probably one of the 3 main downsides. So I really hope you've enjoyed that video. As I said, definitely check out the other 3 girls. They will all be linked in the description. All of their videos are fantastic. And thank you so much for coming. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Have a great week. Bye.